Ever wonder what the secret sauce is for legendary traders? What really separates them from the rest of us? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most successful and honestly mysterious figures in Wall Street history, W.D. Gann. We're going to deconstruct his masterclass on trading, and you'll see that the secrets he laid out over 70 years ago are maybe more potent than ever. So let's get right into it.
So our guide for this is Gann's 1949 book, 45 Years in Wall Street. Now, just stop and think about that title for a second. This isn't some academic in an ivory tower writing about theories. No, this is the distilled wisdom from nearly half a century in the trenches. This guy traded through panics, bull markets, you name it. He saw it all, and this book was his attempt to put it all down on paper.
And what's really telling is why he wrote it. It wasn't for more fame or more money. He says it right here. His only goal was to give away the most valuable thing he had, knowledge. He truly believed he'd found rules that could protect people, that could guide them, and he felt he had to share them. That's the heart of what we're talking about today.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll get to know the man, the legend, W.D. Gann. Then we're going to tackle the big question he asked. Why do most people lose money? From there, we'll dig into his two-part solution, his rules for survival, and then his pretty advanced ideas about market time. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with what he considered the trader's ultimate edge.
So first up, who was this guy? Well, William Delbert Gann was way more than just a trader. People saw him as a market visionary. I mean, the stories about him are just wild. They say he once made 286 trades in a single month, and 264 of them were winners. An absolutely insane success rate. He was known for making these incredibly accurate forecasts, sometimes years out, because he had this core belief that the markets weren't random at all. He thought they moved according to precise laws of nature and math.
Okay, so you have this master of the markets, and with all that experience, he zeroed in on one single fundamental problem. It's a problem that haunts traders in every single generation, and it's the central question he tries to answer in his book.
And there it is, the million-dollar question. Why do most people who play the stock market end up losing? I mean, seriously, doesn't that sound like something you'd see on Twitter or a Reddit forum literally yesterday? Not in 1949. And for Gann, the answer wasn't out there in the market. He believed the problem was in here, inside the trader's own head.
He boiled it down to three massive mistakes. First, people overtrade. They risk way too much of their money on too many different bets. Second, they don't use stop-loss orders. It's pure ego, right? A refusal to admit you were wrong and just take the small loss. But the third one, he says, is the real killer, the most important of all, a fundamental lack of knowledge. People are just trading on hope, tips from a friend, and pure emotion.
And this really shows you the two sides of the coin. On one side, you've got this emotional roller coaster. The losing trader is running on hope, fear of missing out, tips, and greed. It's chaos. But on the other side, you've got the Gann trader, and they're operating on a totally different wavelength. It's all about knowledge, ironclad rules, doing your own analysis, and discipline. It's basically chaos versus control.
So if that's the problem, what do we do about it? Well, Gann's answer is brilliant, and it comes in two parts. And the first part, well, it's not about how to get rich quick. It's not about making $1 million. It's about how to not lose the money you already have. It's all about survival. To do this, he laid out what he called his 24 never-failing rules. And let's be clear, these aren't friendly suggestions. They're more like commandments, forged in the fire of decades of trading. And job number one, the prime directive, is always, always protect your capital. Making a profit is secondary. Let's just pull out a few of the big ones. The first two rules are all about managing your money. Basically, never bet more than 10% of your entire stash on one single idea. Simple, right? But it means that one bad decision can't sink your whole ship. Rule 6 is just a straight-up command. Don't overtrade. It's the fastest way to break your own money rules. And Rule 7? Oh, this one's crucial. Don't let a winning trade turn back into a losing one. Protect your profits.
But out of all 24 of these roles, there is one that he just hammers on over and over and over again. He practically yells it at you from the pages of the book. He calls it the only safety valve a trader has, the absolute non-negotiable cornerstone of his entire system is the stop-loss order. Yeah, he wrote it in all caps for a reason. This is the secret weapon for taking your own destructive emotions out of the equation. You decide your pain point, your maximum loss, before you even place the trade, back when you're calm and rational. Then you set the order and you do not touch it. Period. End of story. He believed this one simple habit would have saved countless people from financial ruin. Okay, so once you've built your fortress, once you've mastered the art of survival, then it's time to go on the offense. And this is where Gann's work gets really unique and moves way beyond basic risk management into the art of mastering market time. Now get this, because this is a huge idea. For Gann, time was more important than price. He literally wrote that when the time is up, the market has no choice but to move up or down. He saw the market as this giant clock operating on these predictable, rhythmic time cycles. And if you could figure out those cycles, you'd have an unbelievable edge. And here's just a little taste of what he meant. Now, this is just a tiny sample, but after decades of just grinding away at historical charts, he found these patterns. He would literally circle dates on his calendar like, okay, watch out for the second week of January, or be careful around the third week of September. He saw them as these natural turning points, almost like seasons that were just built into the market's DNA. Another really cool tool he used was anniversary dates. He believed that the dates of massive historical events, like, say, the market peak right before the Great Crash of 1929, were not random. He thought they left an echo in time. So every year on that same date, he'd be watching closely, looking for a repeat or maybe a complete reversal of that old trend. For him, the market had a memory. So we've got the survival rules and we've got the timing tools. But what's the glue that holds all this together? What's the core philosophy? What did Gann believe was the single most important mindset a trader could possibly have? This quote just nails it. Think about it. You wouldn't just walk into an operating room and start performing surgery, right? Or try to build a bridge with no training. Gann's whole point was, why on earth do people treat trading any differently? It's not a hobby, it is not a casino, it is a serious profession. And if you treat it like anything less, you are going to get wiped out. So in the end, Gann's ultimate edge, his big secret, it wasn't some mystical pattern or a magic number. His edge was the system itself, the whole thing. It was having the discipline to actually follow the rules, having the humility to use a stop loss every single time. And it was the dedication to do the boring, hard work of studying, instead of looking for a get-rich-quick shortcut. The system is what saves you from yourself. And that brings us full circle, right back to where we started. Remember his number one reason why traders fail? Lack of knowledge. The entire book, every single one of the 24 rules, the time cycles, it's all designed to fix that one central problem. For W.D. Gann, real, hard-won knowledge wasn't just power, it was survival. Which leaves us with one final thought. Look, Gann's system requires a ton of patience and almost superhuman self-control. And let's be honest, we live in a world of meme stocks, high-speed algorithms, and a 24/7 news cycle screaming at us to do something. The temptations of hope, fear, and greed have been cranked up to 1,000. So, is this 70-year-old wisdom just obsolete? Or, in an age that rewards impulse and chaos, is a return to pure, hardcore discipline more relevant and more necessary than ever before?